Scoop, the Saints, a little bit less exciting than what the South Sydney Rabbitohs were, that's for sure, mates. But what do we think of this team? Plenty of changes this year. Do you think they've gotten slightly better or maybe a little bit worse? They finally got rid of the Ben Hunt saga. It's done after like 3 years, which is crazy.
Yeah, I think they probably come out. I think they probably come out a little better, but maybe only for a few years, but depending the age of the players. I think they need some freshness in that leadership role though, because Ben Hunt was a real leader for them, but you could tell he wanted out, and
Oh
that
yeah,
probably didn't rub off well on the rest of the team.
nah, definitely not. And well, let's look at their spine. Like I think, yeah, fullbacks obviously was a position that they did struggle with. You could tell it was Hunt that could lead from that standpoint. But having some leadership in the defensive line, I think, is massive. And just having that effort on effort player in Gutho is really cool. And the emergence of Jacob Little last year, I thought was massive. And then bringing over a gun outside back that can do it off their back is really cool. It's just that that halves combination is going to be tough. But I think Cook obviously starches up that middle as well, which they have a lot of guys, don't they, that are really solid in that middle. But yeah, the halves. How do you think the halves are going to go this year?
I think I think they'll be solid, but won't be absolutely game breaking. Like we saw Ilias and Cook together at the Rabbitohs, and Ilias did a job, but he wasn't Adam Reynolds. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes in a different setup because there was pressure on him filling Reynolds' shoes, and the Dragons, it's different shoes again with Ben Hunt, but I think it has to be his team now. He's going to have support from guys like Gutherson, who can kick the ball and are all effort, and from Cook. So I think that he has the potential to do a bit better, but I don't know how big the ceiling is for him.
Yeah, definitely. I actually think Flanagan kind of takes control of this team. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think Ilias isn't going to be a Ben Hunt dominating. So Flanagan's going to improve um, the amount of involvement he does get. So I have given him a little bump.
Mm,
Don't know how far and how high that will go. He'll get more kick meters and stuff. He probably won't get goals. Holmes is an amazing goal kicker.
mm.
So I do have a little bit of value on Flanagan. I just don't know if it's tons and tons of points.
Yeah, that's fair. And I suppose the other question is, I had him probably a little bit of a bump with Holmes on that left hand side, but with Sully being there last year and that combination they built, do you think they'll just go Ilias and Holmes on that right and work it out together?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be overly surprised if they replace the right side with players missing with those new players rather than shift existing players to be where somebody else was, change that, and then change the other side as well. So it
Yeah.
just seems like minimum change. Home stays on the side that he's most used to, and it works that way. But
Mm.
yeah, it is a very different team. Rabbitohs and Dragons seem to be swapping a few players these days because they got Jaden Sullivan, they got who else did they get? But yeah, I think they both got two players each from each other.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Sullivan's been on the move a little bit recently, hasn't he? The poor fella. Just need him
Mm.
to take that next step, which hasn't happened. But yeah, that outside that back five is probably not a lot of value there, is there?
No. If Holmes goes down, I would be having half a look at Gutherson because I think he's going to be supporting those halves a fair bit. Like he's being paired with Moses and Dylan Brown, who are definitely an upgrade to these guys. And whenever they're out, he does take on a lot more responsibility. I had a look when Moses was out, he was 5 points better
Yeah.
without than with him. And in 2023, he was like about 10, 15 points better when Brown wasn't there because he was taking on a lot of Brown's playmaking on that side. So I think if the Dragons click a little bit, there is potential for Gutho to do slightly better than 42.6. And then if he gets goals as well, probably bit better. Although
Mm.
Flanagan's probably going to be second choice, isn't he?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, Gutho, not a very good
Yeah.
kicker. Unfortunately, I did fall into that 10 to 15 points better trap last year, and I won't be doing it again. But yeah, I do think if his body's actually fit, he probably has, yeah, a little jump there for sure. But he's never been that dominant fullback anyway. So yeah, if Holmes was to go down, then I think that it just benefits someone like Carl Flanagan for sure.
Mhm.
But with Ilias, mate, you do have him in the green, and what brings that up with you? Is it more just the fact if he was to be priced at that 24?
Yeah, so in 2023, he averaged mid to high 30s. I think it was about a 36, 37. And then he had two pretty ordinary games to start. And then he had that horrible knee injury and just stayed out of the team.
Mm,
So if they are to manually adjust a couple of players who they have done in the past, not so much last year though,
true.
if they don't do that, I think there's a fair bit of value in him because I
Yeah.
mean, he's scored 35, 40 before
Hmm.
at the Rabbitohs and priced at 24. That'll be really great. But yeah, it has to be seen whether that actually happens.
Yeah, especially if not with the dominant guy next to him, they'll probably split a lot of the work, won't they? And they both could have a bit of value, but either both of them could not have enough, especially if Ilias is priced somewhere near Flanagan at 33 or 30 or something like that for
Mm.
sure. But mate, with these middle forwards, bench and starters, do we see any value in these guys? Or is it just too many, not enough minutes to get around all these guys like we saw last year? It was a bit of a merry-go-round, wasn't it? Apart from, Eisenhuth came in and we both talked him up in preseason, and then it was like, oh, we
Uh,
bought Luciano Leilua. Okay, there goes some more minutes. But no, he was the guy, and nothing stands out this year, does it?
no, I think they did all of their excitement last year. And I was a bit surprised that they bought Damien Cook actually after Little stood up and did well at the back end of last year, or just most of last year. So I think that does hamper the minutes a bit because I can't see them just going, okay, Little, you did really well. Congratulations. You're getting 20 minutes a game now. I can't see that happening.
Yeah.
And as a result, I think it does push down the ceiling for a couple of these guys. Like DeBellin's probably going to sit where he was. I pushed Eisenhuth down 5 minutes from last year uh, as he ages. I think was he 33 now? So yeah, for a middle forward, big minute middle forward, it's tough to maintain a really, really big starting role with that much impact on the body. I think Little and Cook, one of them's going to move into the middle when the other comes off the bench, and that's probably going to shift the minutes around enough that there's not really anybody I'm actually interested in that whole forward pack.
Yeah. No, that makes sense, mate. I just I think that one of the bench guys has to drop 20 probably. Like if we're combining it all, it's going to be hard because I do see you can't personally. If I was coaching, I couldn't have Cook and Little playing what 120 odd or 105, sorry, 105 minutes between them out of two guys that are probably close to their best players. To be fair, it's
Mm.
Little I thought was their pretty close to their best player last year if you're not counting Hunt. He has to get more minutes somehow. So I think you've got to have him and Cook maybe close to 60 odd each. I don't know. Yeah, again, how it happens is the big question. And do you take guys like Leilua and Sewer? Do they end up with sort of, Sewer's like a 70 to 75 average and Leilua's a bit lower? Do you have like that utility guy that only gets on if they need it instead of, and then you can have Cook as and Little as guys that can cover nine, middle, Cook at, best center in the game. Lots of different ways they can go about it for sure. And I do really like, Ryan Couchman, Toby Couchman. Do they do they move ahead of some of these older guys from the start, or is it kind of, when injuries come, they kind of build through the year, or is it, halfway through the year they take over from these guys because they're just better and younger? There's just so many forwards, isn't there? Between nine
Yeah.
and the middles and the edges, it's wild because you got Raymond Faitala-Marino that can play on the edge. Ryan Couchman's an edge. Eisenhuth can play edge. Like it's wild, hey?
Yeah, I think there's a very solid chance that if Blake Laurie has another down season, that Couchman bros just come up and replace him essentially. out of this whole forward pack, other than Jaden Stewart potentially being a borderline keeper edge, the only ones that would probably be better towards mid-year are probably the Couchman brothers staking more and more minutes. Uh,
Yeah, it's kind of all I've got. Like, it's funny, like, you get Raymond down there at 25 when, he'd play 71 game and then he'd be down to 25 the next and 30 and just all over the shop. But yeah, we are looking at a lot of these teams with everyone available, which just hardly ever happens, does it? It could look like it's going to be that way and then someone goes down and we got, well, this is coming out a few days after we mentioned this, but we just got news this morning that, Zach Hosting has gone down with a calf injury as well, which is really sad to see for him and his
mm,
prospects. But these things change very regularly. And you mentioned Matty Nicholson, and he might come into a few more people's thoughts across this next few months if that's a bit of a problem. But yeah, things happen so quickly, and there's a couple of guys. The Couchman guys are the ones you want to look at. Um, that have that little bit of value because you've got Stewart near 50. Can't see him going much higher than that. DeBellin's at 48. Cook's a bit too high for now. Little's a bit too high with how things are going. Eisenhuth at 46 is about right. And then, yeah, you've got guys like Laurie, Vitella Mariner, all priced in the mid 30s that aren't going to get anywhere near their projection as you've got a lot of negatives there. Vitella Mariner at negative 18, negative 21 for Little right now, if
mm,
that's the minutes, but he'll still be unders if even with sort of 55 or 60 minutes. So,
mm.
yeah,
You
a
want to
team
see
that a
you want to
mid
see
team, aren't
one
they?
more?
What's that?
Yeah. You want to see one more spanner in the works to that forward pack?
There he is,
There he is.
Matty Lodge.
Signed, trained and trial a couple of hours ago. Is this his sixth club? He's trying to go for Blake Green as record, isn't it?
Yeah, keep getting around. He seems to it just keeps getting injured, doesn't he? He comes in, he plays a few games when there's injuries, and then he gets injured himself. So yeah, rough one on that. He will be priced fairly low, but yeah, he'd have to there'd have to be a few injuries because you got Harm Saleh there as well that had
Mm.
a good season for Rabbitohs and looked solid enough last year, but he probably doesn't make this side either. And then you've got Toby Couchman there as well. So and then Michaela Ravalawa. Is he currently injured or is he just going to miss with Sloan going to the wing?
I think he dropped out. Um, he was pretty bashed up towards the back end of the year. I found coach's comments, so there's a chance he maybe starts over Tuipulotu. But
Yeah.
I mean, you've also got which Figo brother left and which one stayed. The other one,
Yeah, good question.
there's three people that are
M
fighting
dot
for that one position, and yeah, it's going to be like, yeah,
makes it even harder when they're both M dot Fainai. So yeah, the Dragons very mid side, aren't they? And they've got that buy in round three as well, so it's a pretty easy squad just to watch the first few. If there's an injury or something, then you could look into it for that middle, that early to middle section of the year. And they've got two buys pretty quick through Origin. If things stand out, Littles and these types of guys in the back end, then you've got a pretty clear runway with Penrith to finish. That'll be good fun. But I am interested to watch these guys start the year. Right, they come up against two teams that should be on the improve in Canterbury and South, and it's going to be weird to see guys like Cook in a different jersey. That's for
oh,
sure. And Clint Gutherson with the Dragons, and I hope they do really well. To be fair, because they deserve they deserve some success in the sort of the back ends of their careers for sure.
yeah. It's going to be a team that's really weird to watch because you've got Gutho, Holmes,
My boy Holmes.
Cook, big names, and Ilias as well. Like it's going to look the rock like they've just pinched him. It's going to be like, why are you wearing that jersey?
Yeah, just put a bunch of guys together from all different clubs. Yeah, big wholesale changes for sure. And I love how I didn't even mention Holmes because I'm just trying to forget him. And it's going to be the same next year when Robson goes. That Robson one's burnt me hard, so I'll just avoid him next year as well. I won't even mention him in that Roosters squad because how's he going to get the starting nine jersey over Connor Watson? Come on, Connor's the goat.
Oh, what a legend. 65 average this year, guaranteed.
Yeah, he'll be back to 13 next year. He'll be even better than nine because he'll actually run the footy.
Mm.
I think we'll leave it at that, mate. That's the St. George Illawarra Dragons. Next up, Roosters, and then we have your favourite club, followed by the West
So
Tigers
I
finishing it
love
off.
the
Love the yeah, it was great that we had someone comment on that. They knew more than what I did. That's for sure on that topic. You guys in your Discords and
mm,
your Reddit threads and stuff, Mr. Lachlan.
yeah. Well, this one's a dodgy one as well because if you look up the official 2025 ladder that's sorted by alphabetical, they have St. George as ST, but technically Saint is short for SA, and so technically they would be before Rabbitohs, but they're not. So yeah, get with
See?
the program. Just go Eels, Rabbitohs, whatever. Much easier.
Well, true, yeah. See, this is the weeds that Scoop gets into, and that's why we love him on the show. So, big thanks to you, mate. Everyone else, subscribe, follow along, and get that notification bell on. And any interest in the private group, it's all in the description. Get around it, get excited, and the game's going to be coming open very soon. It's Tuesday. Come on, 2 days, 3 days. Let's hope for it being Thursday.
Price reveals soon, any day.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe from. Well, yeah, true. We're making this early, so hopefully we've got a couple of price reveals Monday, Tuesday, and get it open on
Mm.
Thursday. So, all right, let's get into it, guys. Have a cracking afternoon.